Sorry. Hi.
How are you?
Good. We were on at 2. We thought it was at 2. And
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I just got 5 minutes. Sorry. Okay, let's start. Are we waiting for Nisha? Let's.
no. She's not feeling well, so she's resting today. So it's just us.
Okay. Okay. And how about like Briella?
She's actually because we were waiting at 2, and then I just put her in the bath. So now she's inside the
No,
bath.
no. We're having class at 2:30 Swiss time, right?
No, it's 2.
Is
Usually it's 2.
no,
Like
no,
only
no,
one
no,
week
no,
we
no.
had.
Usually it's 2:30 because I have music from 3 to 4. So meaning 2 to 3, like Swiss time. I've got music. Anyway, it's okay. Let's start.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect. All
yeah.
right, let me share. You want me to I'll give you permissions to record as well.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then let me go ahead.
Okay, let's start with the prayer.
Okay, ready? Namo Arahantaram, Namo Sitaram, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vajayanam, Namo Loe Savasahunam, Eso Panchanamo Yaro, Sava Pava Panasano, Mangalanancha Savesim, Padamam Hoi Mangalam. Paramam Hoi Mangalam. You're on mute. Come on.
Chattari Mangalam.
Arhanta Mangalam. Sita Mangalam. Sahu Mangalam. Kevali Panato. Dhammo Mangalam. Chattari Loguttama. Arhanta Loguttama. Sita Loguttama. Sahu Loguttama. Kevali Panato. Dhammo Loguttamo. Chattari Saranam Pavajami. Arhante Saranam Pavajami. Site. Say, sorry.
Sahu Sharam Pavajami.
Kevali Panatam. Dhammam Saranam Pavajami.
Okay. Now you can scroll down. We can start with the next lesson, the new lesson, lesson 5.
So I think we did this one last time.
Yeah,
We did it
so
before, right?
lesson 6. Yeah. Okay. Boys, shall I examine your teeth and nails today? Ramesh, tell me, for how many days have you not taken a bath? Sir, I take my bath daily. Legs and hands of those who bathe daily are not so dirty. You just pour 2 or 3 mugs of water. This is not a real bath. You should clean your body by rubbing it with a towel. Similarly, one should clean one's teeth every morning, otherwise they will start giving foul smell. The teeth get weakened and fall off. Sir, I take my bath in the evening. We must do things at their proper time. Our daily activities must be based on a timetable, and we should always follow that. For example, we can't do English when we're in maths class, or we can't do maths when we have history class. Sir, kindly prepare a timetable for us. We shall follow it from today. Every boy should get up before sunrise. First of all, he should chant Namokar mantra, which I think Fiona is doing, right? So she's a very intelligent girl from day one. Then he should think over the nature of the soul in order to purify the mind. Are you doing this as well? Fiona,
Thinking about the nature of the soul.
Vishal, are you doing it? Good. Okay. Does the mind also become impure? Yes, as the body becomes unclean by the outside dirt, so our mind, soul becomes impure by delusion, attachment, and aversion. Just as our bodies become clean by bathing, so by virtue of understanding the nature of our soul and the perfect soul, our minds become purified. We should take care of the inner and outer purity. Alicia, shall we wait for you?
I think let's continue because she might be oh, there she is.
I'm getting Briella dressed. Hang on. I mean, you can continue. It's okay.
Okay. After ablution, one should clean one's teeth and take a bath. One should then put on clean clothes and go to the temple for having darshan. Points regarding Dev Darshan were explained to you the other day. One should also have one's breakfast and go to school or study at home. Okay, sorry. Then one should have one's breakfast and then go to school. So what you're doing is correct. Fiona, first you're reciting Namokar mantra, and then you're doing your other daily activities that you need to do, like maybe eat breakfast and then go to school. Is your school open or are you in lockdown?
Open.
It's open.
It's open. One should take the morning meal peacefully between 10 to 11 a.m. Every boy should be free from his evening meal before sunset. So are you having your meal before sunset?
Before sunset. Not every day, right? Because you sometimes have evening classes that are in the same
Yeah,
time.
sometimes they have like these other classes, so
Okay.
I can't.
Okay, so what is the reason? You see, I mean, everything has a reason. So when you have your meal, for example, I'm not asking you to take it at 11 o'clock because you might be in school at that time, but I'm just explaining you the reason why it is stated here to have your meal by 11 a.m. The reason is that the small intestine, you understand small intestine, Fiona?
Small intestines.
Yeah.
You know about that? Yeah.
Mhm.
So what does the small intestine do? The small intestine will further digest food. So first, oh hi Briella. Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, so fine. So here we are, and what you have missed is very little. That in the morning, Briella, are you reciting Namokar mantra when you wake up?
Yeah.
Very good, girl. Well done. Okay, so now the next thing which is coming over here, and are you thinking about the soul when you wake up in the morning? That I am a pure soul?
Yeah.
Good girl. Very good. So now it is stated over here that one should have their morning meal by 11 o'clock. Now, it's not that you have to take it at this time, but I'm explaining you the reason why they have stated 11 o'clock in the morning. Because between 1 to 3 p.m., the small intestine is active. This is a natural law of the body. Like nobody has created this law. For example, the large intestine, which maybe like Vishal and Alicia will understand, maybe Fiona will understand little less, that in the morning, between 5 to 7 in the morning, the large intestine is active. So it is always recommended to take a lot of water, like the minute, like the sunrise to maybe 11 o'clock, you should be taking a lot of water because this is good for the body naturally. Nobody has created this rule, or it is not invented by maybe like a person to maybe to like glorify his diet. But this is a natural law of the universe. And between 3 and 5 in the morning, early in the morning, your
Good night.
lungs are active. And because your lungs are active at that time, what happens is that it is a good time for meditation, for breathing. So that's a good time for all these things. Now, why is it that in Jainism, they say that have your meal before sunset? It is very scientific. It's not blind faith. It's not something to do just because we're Jain, we should be doing this. No, that is not the reason. The reason is that if you take it before sunset, there are sun rays. And wherever there are sun rays, there will be less microbes like corona, or maybe like other viruses, maybe other bacteria, maybe other fungus. There will be less in the environment. So this is one of the reasons why they say have your meal before sunset, if you're having a meal. Now there are certain people in India who don't have a meal, like for dinner. I mean, they don't have any dinner. Now the logical reasoning behind that is between 1 to 3 p.m., the small intestine is active. After 3 p.m., the body cannot digest food. I mean, it maybe can if you give it something very simple like a fruit. Like a fruit is a very simple thing to digest. But if you give something like, something very heavy like pizza or something like burgers, which is very difficult to digest, because for one, it is made out of white flour. Buns or the pizza base, it is made out of white flour. Fine, we can say that, oh, I'm buying out of brown flour. But even then, in the evening, food is extremely difficult to digest. And that is a reason why all of us are diseased, because we're eating at the wrong time. When food cannot be digested, and we're eating it and eating it and eating it, and it's become this poor habit that eat after every 2 hours. Because there are diets on the internet which might say that eat after every 2 hours. But here in Jainism, it is explaining to us the real reason, meaning to say, when I say real reason, it is not man-made. This is made by nature. This is how nature is. But a man might make up his own theory, sometimes to earn money, sometimes for fame, sometimes just to glorify his country, or maybe sometimes to glorify himself. But nobody wants, but you see, nature doesn't want to glorify itself. It is how it is. So the reason is that we don't eat, after sunset, after sunset, there are innumerous number of bacteria, virus, fungus that we can't see with the naked eye. And you see, it doesn't create, I'm not sure if you have learned this in science, in your science class, Fiana. Maybe Briella hasn't learned this, but you might have learned this, that the moth is produced at night by itself. Nobody nobody makes it like how the human baby is made, but this is just made by itself. It just comes up at night and it dies once the sun rises there again. So what I'm trying to say is that there are several such insects, several microbes, several bacteria, fungus, virus that we cannot see with the naked eye, which are produced after sunset. So there are 2 reasons why we shouldn't eat. We're eating all these microbes which are not good for the human body. And secondly, we are killing them unnecessarily. So we are also creating violence unnecessarily, because when we can do something before sunset, why do it after sunset? So we are harming the human body. We're making it more diseased. And the second reason is we're killing microbes unnecessarily. So these are the 2 reasons that we should be avoiding eating food before sunset. Now let's go a little bit in depth. Again, I'm not asking you to do this. I'm only giving you information, and you can make a choice by yourself whether you want to do this or not. Now in Jainism, they say that we should not be eating underground vegetables. There are several reasons. The first and foremost scientific, or which is related to the human body, is that underground, Fiana, is there any sunlight?
Is there any sunlight?
So that means there's more organisms than above the ground.
Well done. So you are indeed a very smart girl. Okay. So above the ground, because there's sunlight, there are less microbes. And underground, be it carrots, be it potatoes, be it onion, garlic, ginger, there are more microbes, meaning to say that there are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of insects. Lots of insects. There are so many insects underground that it is, you might think, oh, I've cleaned it properly with water, but what it is that these small insects go inside the food, so you can't really see it. So that's one of the reasons that we should not be eating food which is under the ground, because we are harming the body and we are creating like a lot of violence unnecessarily. The second reason which they explain, like in Jain textbooks, is that can you imagine the tip of like a needle? Priyala, have you seen a needle?
Yeah.
Have you seen a needle?
Yeah.
Yes? No?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So have you seen the tip of a needle? How tiny it is?
Have you
It
seen
is extremely tiny. And in that tiny, tiny, tiny space, there are infinite jeev. Meaning to say, if you poke that needle in like a potato or in a carrot, there are infinite jeev or infinite lives in that small, very, 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 very small part of the needle where you have poked the potato. So can you imagine in the whole potato, how many jeev or how many lives there are that we are killing unnecessarily? So this is just something for you to know, for you to understand, and whenever you're ready, maybe you can start implementing whatever you think is appropriate for you to implement.
Great.
But at least be aware of it so that whenever you are ready, you can start to do it.
Go ahead, tell.
And we actually already do it.
Oh, you do it. Okay, good, girl. Okay. So it's so you are indeed a very what's the right word? You're indeed a very great family, in my opinion, because you live in Switzerland and you are so like very much in good conduct. Okay. So
We don't
okay. So I'm assuming you don't eat any underground vegetables.
No.
Well done. Very good. So
What about French fries? Do you eat French fries?
No.
No. We stopped everything. We used to, but then it just last October we just stopped everything.
Okay, good. So
Yeah.
anyway, let me explain to you the reasons, because you and Vishal already know them, but I'll just explain it one more time for like Fiona, and maybe Briella can like understand as much as she can. Okay, so like where were we? That in one small area of a needle, there are infinite jeev or infinite lives. Briella, is that making sense? Is that making sense?
Does it make sense what she's saying? On the needle. Do you understand? Say yes.
Yes.
Bolo. Huh.
Okay, good. So we are killing that many jeev in just one little tiny area. So imagine when we eat one whole potato or carrot, this is what is happening. Fine. So we have gone through that. Now let's move on. One should not take his meal during the night. One should study up to 8 or 9 p.m. So long as he can concentrate. Afterwards, one should remember one's soul and those of the liberated beings and go to bed quietly. So the reason, you see, all these are scientific reasons. Because after 9, 10 o'clock, like the quality of sleep is better. Like the earlier you sleep, the quality of sleep is better. So one can argue that I sleep at 12 midnight, but I wake up at 8 o'clock and I get my 8 hours of sleep. But that's not a logical reasoning, because when you sleep at, for example, at 9 o'clock and you wake up maybe at 6 o'clock in the morning, or like maybe at 5 o'clock in the morning, your quality of sleep is better as compared to doing the other way around, that you sleep late and you wake up late. Now, the other thing what you should understand about the human body is that at night there's a lot of detoxification happening in the body. So if you sleep too late, your hormones cannot be cleaned as well. So that's the second reason why it is in any sort of a, not just health book, but any sort of a spiritual teaching, they will always say that try to sleep early. Because you need your mind to be fresh in order for your spiritual development as well. So waking up early is very good in the morning, but sleeping late and studying, for example, and waking up late in the morning is not a good idea.
Go ahead, Heather.
Yeah.
Fiona, what time do you go to bed every day? Normally?
7 to 8.
Good, very good. And then what time do you have dinner?
Dinner.
6 o'clock or something like that. 6 or 6:30, depending on when you have classes.
Good, well done. Okay. Afterwards, one should remember one's soul and those of the liberated beings. So who are the liberated beings? Briella?
Liberated. Moksha kon gaya the?
Panch Parmeshti.
Remember? Yeah, no, she was like, what's liberated?
Yeah, sorry. Okay,
Mokshma.
so, yeah, so sorry. Panch Parmeshti, not all of them are liberated. Out of the Panch Parmeshti, who are the liberated souls?
Okay, do you know the answer?
Sid.
Say it.
Bhagwan.
Yeah, good job.
Sid Bhagwan. So yeah, so we should be thinking about Sid Bhagwan. What are his qualities? What are his qualities before we go to bed? From today, we should follow this timetable and we will maintain cleanliness both of the body and of the soul. Okay, so you have 5 questions to answer for your homework. Let's move on to the other book. This book is called Laghu Jain Siddhant Praveshika, written by Pandit Gopal Das Chibaraya, translated by Brahmachari Hemchand Jain. Let's go on to the 16th question. Okay. What specific attributes are found in each substance? What specific attributes are found in each substance? The principal specific attributes of the soul substance are power of knowing and seeing, that is consciousness, or just a second, my internet is slightly low, just 1 second. Okay. The principal specific attributes of the soul substance are the power of knowing and seeing, that is consciousness or sentience. Number 2, right belief. Number 3, conduct. Number 3, bliss. And number 5, region changing capacity, that is Kriyavati Shakti. So let's take one by one. Okay, so number 1 is power of knowing and seeing. Gyan Darshan. Gyan and Darshan. Power of knowing and seeing, which is called Upyog. Consciousness is called Upyog. Now, next is right belief, that is Samyaktva. Third one is Charitra. Fourth is Sukh, which is bliss. And fifth is Kriyavati Shakti. Now, let's try to understand one by one. Let's start with Kriyavati Shakti. Now, Kriyavati Shakti means the ability to move. Can a soul move? Briella, can a soul move?
Can your soul move?
No. Yes,
It can't. But
Move body to body.
Well, when it's when the actual body is dead, I guess.
Yeah, when it's dead, it moves to another body.
No. See, you were in your bedroom, for example. Now you're in your living room. So, did you move from your bedroom to your living room?
Yeah.
So, can the soul move?
I guess yes. I moved from your bedroom to the living room because you didn't leave your body there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did your body just move and you left your soul downstairs in your bedroom, or your soul moved along with your body
the
here?
soul
Move.
move along with my body.
Good. Well done. Okay. So So both the body, meaning Pudgal, matter substances, and the soul both have the ability for Kriyavati Shakti, or the ability to move from one place to another place. Fiona, is that making sense?
Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Okay, now give one example. I gave one example of moving from the bedroom to the living room. Now you give one example.
Can you give me an example?
From above the cliff, on the cliff
Yeah.
to
The mountain.
What?
Go ahead, say it.
from you're like on the top of the cliff and then you're at the bottom.
Good. Okay. Now give another example, which is slightly more difficult. Maybe something like when a person dies, what happens? Does the body move?
When the person dies, the body doesn't move, but the soul moves to another body.
Yeah, but think and answer. So how did the body move from, say, for example, it was placed at home for the funeral, for the last prayers at home, and then it was taken to the area where it is burned. So how did it move?
How does the body move?
Someone carries it over.
Yeah, but so it moves, right?
Mm-hmm.
It moved. It moved from maybe from the hospital to the area where it's going to get burnt. So the body independently, meaning Pudgal independently, without this, because now there's no soul in that body.
Can it move?
There is no soul in that body. But still independently, without the body, without the soul, the body, meaning the matter particles, moved, for example, from the hospital to the area where it will be burnt. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
But
So
it's
did
not
it
by
require-
itself, though, right, Komal? I mean, I think the point is that the matter is not moving by itself without the soul. Somebody has to bring it from that place to another. No, am I misunderstanding that?
Yeah, okay, yes, you are misunderstanding it, because the matter particles have Kriyavati Shakti. It does not require another body, another matter particles. Like for example, if I'm just using names, but like don't use these names anywhere. For example, if Jack died, then maybe John moved Jack's body from the hospital to the area where it will be cremated. But Jack and John are both matter particles, the body. We're only talking about the body. So my question to you is, did like John move Jack's body or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
No, the answer is no. And the reason is Kriyavati Shakti. Because now, look at this phone. It is in my hand now. These are matter particles.
I'm not coming.
Yeah, these are matter particles. It is here. Now it is placed on my laptop. It is now placed down, as you can maybe see, that it is now placed down. So it was here, and now it is placed this way. So is my hand moving the phone up and down? Fiona?
No.
Alicia?
Well, I technically know the answer. It's no, but do you mean like it has that movable quality? Is that what you're trying to say? That it can move?
That is
It's not
called, that is
frozen.
called Kriyavati Shakti.
That it can move.
My hand, which is, okay, now this question is for Briella. Does my hand have the ability to know?
No.
Briella?
Well, tell her that, not me.
No.
Well done. Because why?
Why do you think? Stop doing that. Why do you think your hand can't move?
No. Why can't it think? Why?
Oh, what can your hand think? Can your hand think?
No.
And why do you think so?
Because the soul's controlling
Soul's controlling?
the hand.
So who's thinking? Your hand is thinking or your soul's thinking? Who's thinking? I forgot. Who's thinking? Your soul or your hand? Look,
So
your soul's thinking. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, now we have kept the soul on the side. We have got no connection with the soul because we're talking about a dead body. We're talking about a dead body. In the dead body, there's no soul. So fine, let me answer the question. The answer is that this hand, which is matter particles cannot think because it doesn't have the attribute or the gun of knowing. So John's body cannot think to move Jack's body. Is that making sense? Is that making sense?
yeah, it's like all pudgals, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly, exactly. Everything is
Yeah.
putgal. Everything is putgal. So just because Jack was present, John was present while Jack's body moved from region A to region B, that does not mean that Jack did it. Because both are separate bodies. Both Pudgal particles have got no mind, be it Jack's body or John or like John's body. They don't have the ability to think that now I have to move this body from the hospital to another place.
I see.
They
Okay.
don't have, yeah, they don't have that ability to think.
Got it.
So it is happening by itself. It might appear that I've lifted this phone, but the reality is my hand or my so-called brain, which is here, did not lift the phone.
So it looked like it lifted it, but it actually did not because it's matter particles. One matter particle cannot impact another matter particle.
Yeah, true. So although both are matter particles, this hand over here and this phone over here, both are matter particles. However, one does not work in sync with the other. So just because I raise my right hand does not mean that my left brain has the thinking ability to put itself up. Like when we see some dance step, and when we see coordination in like a dance step, maybe both hands are moving together, but it has independently happened by itself because of Kriyavati Shakti. So how many matter particles are in this hand, Fiona?
How many matter particles are in the hand? How many?
Infinite.
Say it.
Infinite.
Infinite. So infinite matter particles have infinite Kriyavati Shakti in itself. So it might look like a hand, but really it's not a hand, it's just matter particles together. Right? So there are infinite matter particles over here in this hand over here. Now they're infinite matter particles, and because they're infinite, I mean, they all have to sync together to in order for it to move together. However, they're independent. They're independent because you will notice that when you burn a body, you will notice that some matter particles are flying in east, some matter particles are flying in west, some are flying north, and some are flying in the south direction. We do notice this, don't we? When we are burning something, we like notice that whatever we are burning, that these particles are moving everywhere.
Right.
Because every matter particle has its own Kriyavati Shakti. It is just a coincidence that the matter particles which are in this hand, all of them are in sync by coincidence and moving upwards in sync. Again, it is a coincidence.
So in this one, it's showing that it's a specific attribute of the soul, but also Pudgal has this attribute as well.
Kriyavati Shakti. Also Pudgal, only out of the 6, only 2 have Kriyavati Shakti. One is Jeev, one is Pudgal. Now let's understand what is happening in Jeev. We have tried to understand what is happening in Pudgal. Now let's try to understand what is happening in Jeev. Now the reason why I use dead body as an example, it is to prove to you that although your body moved from the living room to maybe the garden outside, both of them moved together. That doesn't mean that one is following the other. Because in a dead body, that's not what is happening. In like a dead body, the dead body might remain in the hospital maybe for 3 days before it is burnt. Sometimes. And sometimes it is burnt on the same day. But the soul has gone away a long time ago. So both are independent. One is not reliant on the other. If one matter particle is not reliant on a second matter particle, how can one Jeev Dravya be reliant on Pudgal Dravya, which is another Dravya, which is another substance? So now let's understand.
They
what
are
is-
independent.
Both are independent. Two
Independent.
matter particles are independent.
Yes.
And one Jeev and one Pudgal Dravya, meaning two separate Dravyas, are also independent.
Yes. Makes sense.
Yeah. So
Yes.
what's now happening in the soul? The soul has the ability. I'm sitting at the moment in this room talking to you. Maybe after half an hour, I will walk to the car. So when I walk outside to the car, the body is moving, the soul is moving. But both are independent because of Kriyavati Shakti. Because of Kriyavati Shakti, the soul has the ability to move. Because of Kriyavati Shakti, the matter particles have the ability to move. Give another example apart from body. What other like matter particle do we see moving?
Say,
A dog.
The body of a dog. Okay. Let's leave. Let's try to leave body and soul on the side. Any other matter particle? Particles. I just said one word.
A leaf.
Car.
a car, that's a matter particle.
A truck.
A truck.
Truck. So you might notice that your dad drops you to school from your house to your school. So is it because your dad is driving, or is it because the matter particles are moving by itself and your dad happens to be present over there?
You understand that difference? So it looks like I'm driving the car, but it's all matter particles all sort of traveling coincidentally together. And that's why it looks like I'm driving the car.
I don't think she understands the meaning of coincidentally. Maybe you might want to go there first.
Okay, fine. Okay. So something that is happening without any help from each other. For example, you and your dad are sitting together next to each other. So does that mean that your dad helped you to come and sit here, or did you come and sit by yourself?
I came by myself.
Yeah, same thing happens when your dad is driving the car. So just because he's present over there, it does not mean that because of him, the car is moving. The car is moving because it has Kriyavati Shakti. And have you ever noticed that sometimes that your dad is trying very hard to start the car, but it doesn't start? Because the Kriyavati Shakti does not want to move at that time. So if your dad was actually controlling the car should be starting all the time. But we notice sometimes the battery goes down, sometimes because of the weather, like maybe in Switzerland, maybe because of the snow, the car does not start. So if your dad was really the controller, then it should be starting all the time, but it's not, because your dad is not the controller. It is controlled by itself, and the quality that controls itself or its movement is called Kriyavati Shakti. Briella, what did you understand?
Do you understand something?
Mm-hmm.
What did you understand?
Kriyavati Shakti.
Okay, Kriyavati Shakti ખબર છે? Yeah, એ શું કરે છે? ઈ ક્રિયાવતી શક્તિ શું કરે? બેઠી છે કે તને મૂવ કરાવે છે?
I think we'll have to explain again, Komal.
I think we'll have to again talk to the children and
Yeah, no problem at all.
Explain.
Because anyway, it is in A and also it is in B, the same one. So again, we will discuss it in the next class. Because it is in question 16A and also in 16B.
oh yeah, I see it. The
Yeah.
fifth one. Yeah.
Yeah, the fifth one. Okay, so I think for now this much might be slightly clear. Is it clear for you, Fiona?
Clear for you?
Yeah.
Okay, explain what you have understood, whatever you have understood.
Explain whatever you have understood.
About that, even when I pick up Dad's mouse, I'm not actually picking up the mouse.
Okay.
And what else? Because why is that?
Because some matter particle can't react to some other matter particles.
Say that one more time. Say it properly. Because
One piece of matter particle can't interact with another matter
No,
particle.
one matter particle does not help another matter particle to
Help.
move. So my hand will not help my phone to move. It moves by itself. Although it appears, it looks that I meaning this hand, lifted this phone, but even then the phone got lifted by itself. And this hand stood up by itself to grab the phone. So
because sometimes when you pick up the phone, it falls. Even you think you're picking it up, but it falls, and that time that's another example, right? You expect that every time if I pick it up,
It's an independent movement, get it?
it also has
Okay.
slips and falls.
Yeah.
And stuff like
Let's
that.
give another example. Sometimes have you noticed that maybe you are trying to place the utensils and it falls from your hand and it breaks. Sometimes it breaks. Now the intention is obviously not to break it. The intention is to place it back in the cupboard. But because of its own Kriyavati Shakti, its Kriyavati Shakti wanted it to go down to the ground. So no matter how hard you might have tried to save it, it could not be saved. Let's give another example. You might have known of somebody who might have died. Now, obviously, the family members don't want that person to die. But because of Kriyavati Shakti, for example, it has to leave Nairobi, where I live, and maybe that soul has to be, for example, in Mumbai. Because it has to move. And just because I wish that soul or that body remains with me the whole time, it can't. Because it is independent. I cannot control it. It is not moving as per to my wish. Because that soul had to be born or had to be, for example, in another body, in another city. So that is another example of Kriyavati Shakti. Now, for example, that body which that person was in Nairobi, now that body, for example, now it could be ash. And after it becomes ash, it might be used as like manure in the garden. Or sometimes you notice that when the manure is fine, when the plant is growing, you might notice that if you're living in some rural area, for example, that the cows might come and eat it. So can you imagine that manure was actually a person one day? Right? So that ash or whatever it might be that is now in the soil, deep within the soil, one day it was a body. So now the Kriyavati Shakti has changed. First it was in a shape of a human person. Then it became ash. After it became ash, then it went back to the soil. And now it started to grow plants. And then can you imagine whoever was that body is now eating that plant. So he's eating his old body. So it is to now your homework is to explain 3 Kriyavati Shakti in your own examples. I've given you many examples. Okay, let's move on to the second specific attribute or the specific gun, which is called bliss. Bliss means sukh. So sukh is happiness. So it is very, very clear that we cannot get bliss or sukh from any other substance or any other material object or any food or any car or like any nice car that we might drive or any luxurious clothing that we might buy, because it is very clear that the specific attribute of the soul only is sukh only, meaning that the luxurious items that we might be buying, for example, clothes, or it might be a nice fancy car, or it might be a beautiful house, there is no happiness there. Because it doesn't have this attribute called sukh. Fiona, give one example, and then Alicia will give one example where we cannot find bliss.
You want to go first, Fiona, or should I go?
Alicia, you can go first.
Okay.
Oh, me, right?
Whoever is ready.
Well, sukh, you cannot find it in like any material things. As much as I love to eat, it's
Yeah.
temporary happiness. Like it doesn't come from it.
No, it is not happiness. Full
It's
stop.
not. Then what am I feeling? Why am I feeling so
Okay.
happy when I eat?
Okay, so we will go to that. So now, Fiona, you can give one example.
Like when you buy your phone, it's temporary happiness that you have the phone. Then soon it'll be broken or something.
Yeah, it's true. The minute it gets broken, you want to bin it. I mean, and you want a new one,
Right.
right? So there is no happiness, and even with food, Alicia, let's try to understand that. For example, if I like ice cream, so if I had 2 cups, I'd be very, very happy. The third one, yes, I can manage. The fourth one, okay, I can't manage, but I'll still have it because I like it. The fifth one, okay, you're insisting, so I will have it. But the seventh one is where I will start to get angry. I do not want to see ice cream.
Yeah.
So food does not make us happy. This is what it is proving.
So is that coincidence too that my soul is feeling happy at that
So-
moment? I'm supposed to eat.
So what your soul is feeling at that time is less pain. But there's no happiness there, really. Because happiness is like Siddh Bhagwan, which is continuous. He's got no food, no clothing, no body, no house, but he's still happy. But we are not happy. Because the minute you give me the 5th cup of ice cream, I will say, do not show it to me for 2 weeks. Right?
Yeah.
So if it was giving
So-
us happiness, then you'd be like, oh, give it to me every day. Give it to me every day.
So then what am I feeling the first time I eat it?
So it is less pain, which we mistake it for happiness. It is just less pain. Okay, for
Oh.
example, if there is you on one side who has got very good values, then imagine there's some unfortunate person who is born in Somalia. Now you, because of your good values, because of your good upbringing, you have plenty of abundance. You've got 3 meals in a day, and you've got many things in your house. Somebody in Somalia does not have anything, unfortunately. So does this mean you are happy? Are you
No.
really happy? No, you're not after having so many things. You are still not happy because in the morning, oh, I have to wake up in the morning. Oh, I have to do this in the morning. This is how we all think. I have to go back to school. Oh, I have to finish my homework. You know,
I need to go out of the bath.
You have to go to the
Yeah.
bathtub. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She
I-
was in the bathtub and I pulled her out. That's why my mother was like, hang on, I'm coming.
yeah.
So she's like, oh, you pulled me out of the bathtub.
Oh, good. Okay, good. So it's good you understood. Okay, great. Okay, so even if we had to have a bubble bath for more than 1 hour, will we be happy? Because the water has gone cold. And then and you'll be like, it's enough of this. I want to come out. So bliss can only be found in the soul, meaning only by experiencing the soul, we can experience bliss. Anything else that we're feeling, it might be a bubble bath, it might be a luxurious car, it might be a luxurious phone, it might be some good food. It might be some good food. We are still not feeling happy about it because we get bored of the same shak rotli every day, or we get bored of the same ice cream every day. So it is not happiness. It is not happiness, full stop. There are not two ways about it. Oh, I feel a little happy, and if I eat the fourth ice cream, I am not happy. No, there is no happiness there. It is only less pain. It is only less pain. Now let's move on to Charitra. Charitra is quite simple to understand, but just be attentive. Charitra, there's one Nischay. Nischay means the real one. And Vyavahar, maybe Alicia has heard about these words, but for Fiona, let's go slowly. The first word is called Nischay. Nischay means the real. And Vyavahar, which means the one which is not real, but which is in sync with another substance. Okay, or in some or like maybe in some like sentences, it might mean partition or bhed. But okay, we do not want to go in depth. So now let's try to understand Charitra. When you see a Muniraj, or maybe not in real life, but you might have seen in like a YouTube video. So when you see a Muniraj, what do you see? Fiona, what do you see?
In the Muniraj.
In the Muniraj?
Yeah, like when you see the Muniraj.
So what do you see?
I see his body.
Yeah. So how is his body?
Clothless.
It's nude.
Nude. Clothless. Yeah. So he's actually no clothes, is what
No
she said.
clothes. Okay, sorry, I could not hear. Okay, fine. So okay, so yeah, so that is called Vyavahar Charitra. Now I will explain to you, but okay. And then the Nischay Charitra is when one is, let me say, is the soul. Meaning he is experiencing himself as a soul. That is the Nischay Charitra. So there are two kinds of charitras, because you will find this as we go ahead, you will find that charitra has got so many definitions everywhere. Everywhere it's trying to say one thing, and in another place, like in Samaisar, it might be trying to say another thing. So charitra is of two, like the real one. What is it, Fiona?
Say it. Nischay. Nischay.
Nischay.
Yeah, Nischay. Okay, so explain Nischay Charitra.
She's a little confused. I think she's getting confused now. Yeah.
No problem.
A lot of different topics. So she's.
Yeah. Vishal, try and explain.
I mean, Nischay is like, what's the right word? Like constant, not constant. I'm trying to find the right words to say.
What is Nischay Charitra? Meaning that one is absorbed in the soul. That's all.
Say that one more time, sorry.
Nischay Charitra is when one is absorbed in the soul. When one is.
Yeah, like I'm when the Muniraj is in Dhyan, you know, like that's he's in himself.
Yeah, he's in himself. Okay, so fine. Let's try to further simplify it. Fiona, for conduct, what do you understand when you see the word conduct? In school, you might be told good conduct and bad conduct.
Your behavior and your conduct in school, do they tell you what to do, what not to do, what's the right things to do, come on time?
Tell her what conduct is first. I don't even think she knows that word. Do you know the word?
You
Do you know what
conduct.
conduct means?
Conduct.
Like your behavior.
Yeah.
That's a conduct. Get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I mean, I will just take an example. In school, you might be expected to reach on time. Or if you're wearing a tie, for example, you might be expected to have it up near your throat and not down near your chest, for example. Or if you're wearing maybe
No uniform.
Okay, so there's no uniform. Okay, so for example, in school, if there's a rule to tie your hair, then you might be expected only to use a black buckle or a white buckle. These are examples. I don't know what happens in your school, but I'm just giving examples. So these are conduct, meaning that there's a form of discipline. And then
It's like your gym class, Piana. You know how in your gym class you gotta tie your hair. That's the only time. Or come to school on time and gym class tie your hair. Remember?
Or indoor, like the rules, like in the indoor gym, you wear indoor shoe. You cannot wear outdoor shoes.
Yeah.
Like that. Those are all
rules. So you
rules
are
are
expected to behave in a certain way. Now in school, you're expected to behave in a good way, meaning speak politely, raise your hand when you want to ask a question, maybe say please and thank you when you walk into a class. So these are conduct. So who has the best conduct in this sansar that we live? And that's Muniraj. Muniraj has got the best conduct. For example, there's somebody who might be living in the house. He might be doing everything really, really well. But even then, his conduct in comparison to a Muniraj will still be slightly lower. But Muniraj, who is out there in the jungle, who has left all his like possessions, his thoughts rather of his family, of his workplace, of his kingdom, of his people who he used to serve. Because back in the days, like the kings used to take diksha. So he has left all many, many, many things. I mean, these days we do not have that much luxury as maybe the kings back in the day they used to have. So he left everything, that king, although he was a very good king. He used to serve his people, he used to look after his servants very well. He used to maintain the palace very well. He had good interaction with neighboring countries. Even then, his conduct is less than of a Muniraj, because Muniraj is now going towards moksha. He's higher in the ladder steps compared to a king. And so in the sansar, the Muniraj has got the highest conduct. He's got the best conduct. He's got, like in school, you might be getting stars for maybe like getting all your sums correct. So in this case, the Muniraj has got the maximum stars because he has got the best conduct. But that is the Vyavahar conduct, because it is with the body. You see, it is not with the soul. Now, what is written on top? What specific attributes are found in each substance? And now they're talking about soul substance. They're only talking about soul substance. So Muniraj cannot be in that because he still has a body with him. So the best charitra is who is without a body, which you already know the answer. What is the answer? Who is without a body?
Sid.
Sid.
Sid Bhagwan. So Sid Bhagwan has got the best charitra because he's now without a body. Meaning to say that he's now completely absorbed in the soul. Who else is completely absorbed in the soul apart from Sid Bhagwan?
Arihant.
Good. So Arihant and Sid have got charitra. Only two. No Muniraj has got Nischay charitra. But Vyavahar charitra, yes, also Muniraj has. So this was slightly in depth. Now let's understand right belief.
Vyavahar has to do with body.
Vyavahar has to do not only with body, but it has got several definitions. So one definition is yes, that one has to do with body. The second one can be one has to do with thoughts. The third one can be where one, it has got several definitions, but this is the simplest that we're using over here.
Vyavahar would be like relationship, basically.
Vyavahar happens wherever there's okay, let's not go too much into depth because we will have to explain the whole
Okay.
the whole sequence of it. Okay, fine. Okay, so now right belief is samyaktva. Who has right from? Okay, so who has right belief? Now in like the spiritual ladder, there are 14 steps. One is where we are, me, you, everyone. This is where we are. And in the fourth step of the ladder is fourth gunastan. We are in the first gunastan. In the fourth gunastan is where one has experienced the soul, so he attains fourth gunastan. The fourth gunastan. And from the fourth gunastan, samyaktva stays on till the 14th gunastan. So there are 14 steps in the ladder. Each step is called gunastan. And each gunastan represents something. So at the moment, we are in a state called mithyatva. And mithyatva is where there is no right belief, because we are still believing that I'm a body, I'm one with thoughts, I am one with, I'm like a body with thoughts and speech. But in the fourth gunastan, one starts to experience the soul as it is. So that is the specific attribute of the soul, which is samyaktva, which are not there in the other 5 substances. Now the first one is power of knowing and seeing, which you already know. That this phone does not have the ability to, the power of knowing and seeing. Or for example, this comb over here does not have the ability to know and to see. And the chair that you're sitting on, the chair does not have the ability to see or to know. Or the curtains behind you do not have the ability to see or to know. Or the lamp, which I can see behind you, that also does not have the ability to know or to see. So the only substance which has the power of knowing and seeing is the soul. Is that clear?
That's why it's only the attribute of the soul substance. That's why it's in here, right?
Yeah, that is why it is the, so let's read the question again. What specific attributes are found in each substance? So first we're dealing with the soul. And then in part B, we are dealing with matter particles. So we're only working on air right now. The principal specific attributes of the soul substance are, so these 5 are the specific attributes of only the soul. Okay, so I think we can stop over here. You can study it one more time by yourself. And your homework is that you have to find 3 examples of Kriyavati Shakti. Three examples of Kriyavati Shakti. The other homework is from the other book. There are 5 questions. So you've got 8 questions in total to answer. Okay, so let's meet next week, 2:30 Swiss time. Yeah, on like Saturday.
I won't be there, so I gotta work.
Okay, then maybe you can listen to the recorded.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, take care and have a good week.
Okay,
Bye.
you too. Bye.
Thank you. Jai Jinendra.
Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra.